What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well, especially after the last Friday crash that we had, the biggest crypto liquidation in history. And Bitcoin Cash has held up very well. It has dropped less than Ethereum, which is quite remarkable. And right now, of course, with this nice move to the upside, the question is there if this one right here is the bottom or if it's not over yet. So I would say let's have a look into this. As I already said, it is quite remarkable that Bitcoin Cash has dropped very little in comparison to other altcoins. If we measure here from the opening to the close of the daily candle, we have about 11.5% as a drop, and in Ethereum we even have more. We have about 12%. As I said, quite remarkable. If we are looking into other altcoins, it's much more. So Bitcoin Cash has held up very well. And also, if we are taking a look into the structure of the chart, we can see also that Bitcoin has not really broken any significant levels. We could argue that we have broken out of the sideways range to the downside. Also, we could argue that here, with the moves that we have made, you can see that even if it seems like that we are moving sideways, we can always see that we are making, even if it's just very tiny, but we have made higher lows. And here, of course, we have broken this to the downside. But so far, it doesn't seem as dramatic as in other altcoins. In other altcoins, we have basically moved all the way back down to April lows. If you are looking, for example, into SUI, you can see here, this was the April low and we have moved, or we have dipped much lower than that. And that is not the only example. So in regards to that, as I said, Bitcoin Cash has held up quite well. But even if Bitcoin Cash has held up so well, and if we are seeing right now a nice bounce back above the bearish trend line, back above this resistance level right here, we not have the daily candle close in yet, but this is of course the first bullish sign. We are also getting above here the recent lows that we have made. So this of course a nice bounce, and it seems like that we are about to get bullish again, but I would not rush to conclusions here. We have to keep in mind that this was the biggest crypto liquidation event in history, and even if Bitcoin Cash just has dropped 11%, let's quickly have a look right here from top to bottom. This is about 20%. So there have been bigger crashes in terms of the percentages in Bitcoin Cash, but we should not forget that this was a major crash in the crypto market, and therefore a strong bounce is likely, even if we afterwards continue to move lower, and all is deciding in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is making the decision. If Bitcoin is moving back to the downside, very likely altcoins will follow. And just from the balance of probability, if we are seeing a liquidation event like this, there are three possible scenarios. The first scenario is that it's over, so that this has marked the bear market, the bull market top, and that the bear market is about to start. The second possibility is that we are doing a V-shaped recovery, so that we are really just straight moving higher, and that we are about to see new highs very soon. That is the second possibility. The third possibility is that we are here at some point, we find our resistance, and then we are bouncing around, potentially making or retesting the old low, potentially even making a tiny lower low, and then we have the strength to move up higher. So that are basically the three options. Let me put them all on the screen. So this one right here, and then of course we have the bear market. So these are the three options that we have, and I can tell you that from the balance of probability, this option right here, so that we are about to enter a bear market, has a 10% likelihood, and I am still ruling this out because we do not have seen extreme overvaluations. That is also meaning that I am calling for that this time it will be different. But either way, if you're calling for that this is the bear market start, or if you're calling for if that we are continuing, either way it will be different, because the bear market, so if we are going with the 4-year cycle, this would have led, so this liquidation was the start of the bear market. But then it would be different because we not have seen extreme overvaluations. If we are calling for that we are about to continue, doesn't matter if it is with the V-shaped recovery or with this scenario right here, but if we are calling for a continuation, we are calling for a change in the 4-year cycle, because that would mean that this cycle is longer than the previous ones. So doesn't matter how you put it, there would be a change, and this time it factually already is different in both ways. So I am calling for that this is not, or that this one right here was not, or basically this one right here was not the top of this bull market, because we do not have seen extreme overvaluations. There still is the 10% likelihood that this one right here is the case, so that the bear market has started and that this is just a rebound and afterwards we are moving lower. 10% likelihood for this. Then we also have another 10% likelihood for the V-shaped recovery. So by the way, the numbers that I'm telling you right now, they are from research that I have done on all the liquidation events that have happened in the crypto market since 2011. And just from these numbers, with the liquidation events that have happened at a top or close to a top, 10% likelihood that the V-shaped recovery is the thing that is about to happen next. And we have about an 80% chance that this one right here is the case. So it doesn't have to be that we are exactly doing a retest, or even that we are doing a new low. It can just be that we are bouncing around right here, but that we need some time, that we are about to consolidate, and then after a certain period of time, the shortest period of time that we have seen is about 2 to 3 weeks till we find the bottom, and then we are moving higher. So that has about 80% likelihood. And because I'm going with the likelihood, that is also the scenario that I'm going with. And you know that I still have my open position in Bitcoin Cash, but currently I am not adding, even if it seems right now that we are about to break higher, but there only is a 10% chance that we are doing the V-shaped recovery. And therefore there is a very high likelihood that there will be better entries somewhere here in the lower areas, potentially when we are hitting the support levels again. And that is then the time where I'm considering to buying. But of course also I will always keep an eye on Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin is falling back here below the 112k level, you know what that means. That means in general the market is weak, the market is bearish, and therefore we have a lower probability that we are bouncing at support levels. So that would make me extra cautious in case that is happening. That is why I'm also keeping my eyes on Bitcoin. But currently in Bitcoin Cash, as long as Bitcoin is staying above the 112k level, I am looking for that we are revisiting the lower levels to add to my positions. And in case there should be any important updates, you know that I will upload a new video, so make sure to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss this. And also feel free to let me know what your opinion is about this crash, also what your opinion about Bitcoin Cash is. Feel free to post it down in the comments. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.